good evening, and it is an extremely good evening from the ACSOM boys here after Hibs 1, Celtic 3. The Easter Road hoodoo's over, and we're now only 2 points behind, and we're now back second in the league. Russell, Boyce, before we have a look at tonight's game, let's have a look at the first quarter of games that we've now went through. Hearts away, Livingston away, Aberdeen away, Hibs away, Motherwell away, and I'm missing an away game there. Hearts, Aberdeen away. 6 away games, all ticked off, and we're only 2 points behind. We would have taken that before a ball was kicked this season, eh?
Close to that. Maybe not taking it before a ball was kicked, but certainly after the first 6 matches, when we're at a 50% win ratio, 100%, I agree with that. I think the hat-trick of wins now away from home that we've just accumulated, and I'll go back to it, we're now putting pressure on the other side, and we failed to lay a glove last season. So whilst you'll never take anything away from a team that's won a title, right? You never do. But they never were put under the cosh at all. There was no heat on them at all. We never breathed down their neck. We've shown signs of that the past couple of away wins, and tonight they blinked first again. So it was a positive night results-wise. We are only 2 points off. It's 3 away wins on the trot, which I didn't see coming. And I'm absolutely delighted with that. Yes, the second half tonight I'm sure we'll get to. But you're right, Kev. Look at the bright side of life, and 2 points off. I wouldn't have taken it at the start of the season because I would never accept that. But at one point when it got to, a 50% win record after 6 games, yes, I would 100% have took it. So I am very happy.
Definitely. Lawrence, what about yourself? We're now going into the second round of fixtures. Livingston on Saturday at home, 2 points behind. Tonight there's another monkey offer back tonight. If you wanted to say the Easter Road hoodoo has absolutely been destroyed tonight.
Listen, we've come through an injury crisis, a hard run of away fixtures, and we're still in touch. We've gained some points tonight. I don't know if the other game's finished yet, or if John Beaton's kind of still playing some injury time for some reason. I don't know. Next goal, the winner. It could be. But listen, injury crisis, hard away games in the middle of a European run, and we're 2 off the top, whilst Ange is rebuilding the team. There's a lot to be happy about, and I've even seen the first Kyogo haircut, not unlike Russell's, but young Murray Crine's a big hail out to him, saying there's a picture during the game, he's going to check out this haircut down in Nottingham. So listen, there's a lot to be happy about, isn't there?
There is a lot to be happy about tonight, and it was a tough venue that we went to tonight, Russell. It's a venue that hasn't been kind to us previously, but in the first half hour tonight it looked like it was going to be all our paradises in the east. It did look like that. You have to have a look at the first goal. Came after 10 minutes. David Turnbull, a diving header for Anthony Ralston, but up until then, as soon as the game kicked off tonight, it was 120 odd seconds before a Hibs player touched the ball. We actually made a statement from the kick-off tonight, and we got our rewards with Tony Ralston scoring from a set play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to highlight the significance of Celtic now scoring goals from set pieces, because that was something that was actually absent. I think the record was something like 2 years under Brendan Rodgers. And then last year we conceded 18 in the SPFL from set plays. When you start looking at that, if you're conceding from them, you ain't scoring from them. And I think that could be another very important element if we're going to win this title back. And I think, it's great to see that. And Ralston, I think one thing about the SPFL, right, it's never going to be a league that you win every game playing Pep Guardiola football, no matter how much you want to aspire to that. That's great. For whatever reason, and I'm not saying rightly or wrongly, you need that blend in your team where you might have a lot of technicians, brilliant footballers, and then guys that just, for want of a better expression, get it. And they've got things that Stephen Presley probably spoke about in every single interview I've ever seen him speak. He says, desire, bravery, heart. And I think and whether we like it or not, in Scottish football, you do need to have a blend of that in your team. And Tony Ralston was the epitome of that with his diving header. He just wants it that bit more than anyone else. He'll lower his head to, obviously a place where he could definitely have been injured. He doesn't care. He takes it at full pace. And I would contrast and compare that with, I know Lawrence was a wee bit critical of Mikey Johnson's half cross, was it a shot in the first half? I also would like to see a wee bit more for the two players that are in that area. And even if they're not going to get there, have a go and slide in. And, you might get crunched, but, go for it a wee bit more like Anthony Ralston did for that goal. And we're going to need guys to do that and be brave and just show that heart and determination this season. And as I say, it's not always pretty on the eye, but in Scottish football, unfortunately, it'll never move on to being a tactical battle throughout. You're going to need to have other weapons in your arsenal. And I thought Ralston showed that tonight, and it was brilliant to see.
I think that's the same in any league, Russell. Even if you look at the riches that Pep Guardiola has actually got, there is times when Man City actually have to dig it out as well. And I think the second half, even though it was nerve-wracking to watch, if you go back and watch the game, you'll probably realise, wait a minute, that was a bit comfortable that we actually dug that out. That was decent game management, especially in the last 8 or 9 minutes when we actually took the ball for a canter, and we actually made no attempt to actually try and score. We just says, we're killing this game, we're taking the 3 points, we had done our job in the first half. Lawrence, I don't think we can actually shake off the importance of how good we were in that first half. We go 1-0 up, then virtually right away, 6-7 minutes later, we get the second goal. Big Cameron Carter Vickers. I keep on getting that mixed up the other way, with a side foot finish that a centre forward would actually be pleased with.
Listen, brilliant first half. Tony Ralston, think man of the match. But Russell touched on something about set pieces. Ange seems to be coming in and sorting things out. We used to concede a lot for set pieces. We're now really tight. He seems to have sorted that out. We're now starting to score goals for set pieces. It's almost as if things are happening on the training ground, and we're now putting them into practice on the pitch. Second half, look, you've got to earn the right to play. You don't just get to play pretty football. Sometimes you do need to dig it out. But we totally managed that game, and Hibs had a couple of chances, a couple of big saves by Hart. So you can say maybe they could have had a couple of goals, but you know what? We could have 3 or 4 more over the 90 minutes easily. So cracking win on the road. We were looking at 3 away games. We're going, we need to take it. What Russ was saying earlier, which one are we going to win? Everyone's a must win, and it's 9 out of 9. It's brilliant, isn't it? Made up some ground in the league. I've heard that game is only just now finished.
Are you listening on long wave, Lawrence? Have you got a long wave radio there?
You've got long wave Wi-Fi anyway. Definitely got. Lawrence makes a massive point there, Russell, and we made this point at half-time, but we've now got over 1,600 viewers on, who some of them might have not joined at half-time. At half-time, actually infused about the importance of Joe Hart. He proved it in the first half when we were 1-0 up, that save, and he proved it again in the second half with the only clear-cut chance Hibs created in that second half. That's why you need a big goalkeeper. And you banged on last season that goalkeepers win you points. Joe Hart was a major contributor to winning the points tonight. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Do you know what I liked about his first half save? I was talking about composure. And he never panicked, even though the ball was almost in our own 6-yard box by the time the shot comes away. Uh-huh. He stayed calm, and then he trusted his reactions, which, is an instinctive thing he was born with, which is brilliant. Because that's how you get him 75 caps for England. If you've got to have brilliant reactions like that. See his second save, that reminded me of Joe Hart at his peak. See the way he came out, it was almost you'd seen him in a Man City top doing it. You know what I mean? Like he may as well pulled on the old City jersey and done that. It was very iconic, and I wonder if that's a sign he's getting back confidence-wise after a few years, maybe. Well, in fact, let's be honest, his career going Pete Tong compared to where it was, and now he is beginning to get back to a confidence level where he goes back to his old sort of traits. Because, see, in terms of an age of a goalkeeper, 34 in the modern day, you only need to look at Craig Gordon, right now, who's doing wonderful things still at 39. There's another goalkeeper in the league who's, done pretty well at 39 as well. 34's nothing for a goalie. And I thought with the way he came out, I wonder if it was maybe the first half save gave him that confidence, or if it's actually an accumulation now of a run of matches, some important moments, his value in the side being right back up to where it was in those Mancini, Man City years, and he's beginning just to get that wee bit of swagger back, and he's now acting impulsively. See when he runs out, and it's that, the way he spread himself, that was honestly so iconic from what you kind of came to expect for Joe Hart, and I actually think we might still be to see the best of Joe Hart yet this season, and absolutely over the course of the campaign, Kev, whether it's a match like tonight, where, yes, Lawrence is right, we could have scored a few more goals, but if Joe Hart doesn't make those 2 saves and we don't take our chances, it's 3-3. So there's already another way of looking at it, and you're right to highlight his importance.
You've got to highlight the important. We win as a team and we lose as a team. We give up chances as a team. And your goalkeeper is... Ange Postecoglou says to Joe Hart when he signed, I'm going to need you to do a job for me. You're going to need to make saves. And Joe Hart's went, I'm up for that. And as you quite rightly said there, that was an iconic save. And he was that calm when he came off his line for the second one. He knew he's going to put it there. I'm going to fling a hand up here and actually going to get it. Lawrence as well. I thought Cameron Carter-Vickers tonight was utterly outstanding. When he charged up that wing in about the 91st minute, it was like 2 Hibs boys trying to shake a Maori off the ball at that corner flag there. They were never getting round him. That's why they should have bought a ticket to try and get round him at that corner flag. I thought he was faultless defensively tonight.
It was class. I can't believe he gave away a throw in there. Don't know what was going on. But the big man's class is scoring goals. He's just getting better and better with each game, isn't he? We do have a really solid defence now. Albeit we give up a few chances, we lost a goal today. You get into every game and you're thinking, you know what, we've got something to build on, and the players in front of them must be thinking that, going, if we do give up a chance, the boys behind us, they're either going to intercept it, they're able to get by Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers. They've got Big Joe behind them. That you know what, you'd put your money on him getting a hand to something, wouldn't you?
You would. You've got that confidence back in your goalkeeper now that you did have with Fraser Forster, and that is a big call. After the first quarter of the season, you have got your confidence that your goalkeeper can make saves, an important part of the games. Ian McIntosh on YouTube, Starfelt also decent. He was actually decent. Again, Russell, we're going to need to have a look back at the game, and we'll have a look back at the game over the next couple of days. I found that second half nerve-wracking, only reason because our passing went, but we dug the game out. But I think when you look at the back, as a team, as a defensive unit, apart from that one chance, we hardly gave anything up. Whatsoever. And that's completely so different from when we were at the 50% win rate, as you says earlier on.
Yeah, no, I get that, Kevin. I think you're right. We're not giving up the same opportunities, albeit, you are still feeling the nerves at times, because the one thing I feel was at the start of the second half, Hibs are boiled by that goal that they scored, right? Towards the end of the first half. And they came out with a wee bit more belief, shall we say. And for me, at times then, they also knew exactly how we were going to play, because there's only one way, apparently. And I felt we invited pressure on ourselves. And Ange recognised that, right? Completely acknowledged we're actually causing bother. So there was a moment Joe Hart was sliding outside at the edge of his box, making a tackle almost, and these are the wee moments that take you back to earlier in the season and still give me the fear a wee bit. Now, there's 2 sides. Is Ange looking at that now and going, do you know what, we are going to need to change it here because we're a wee bit, we're looking a wee bit shaky, a wee bit vulnerable. I'm going to actually change my style slightly as the game goes on. Or is it purely just down because he's now got other options? To me, it's somewhere in the middle. And I don't think there's any shame in admitting that Ange is changing a wee bit, or there's any shame in admitting we've got now way more options than we did when we were getting rubbish results. I think it's a wee bit in the middle. And he brings on Giakoumakis, and you watch Joe Hart, the 2 times he got the ball after Giakoumakis came on, the first 2 occasions, he's in possession of the ball. Boom. Straight up the park both times. And that is undoubtedly a clear instruction that, right, let's now manage this game and change it a wee bit because we're maybe inviting a wee bit pressure on. But again, I think it is important to be positive here. Even though Celtic maybe looked the first 15 minutes of that second half a wee bit under pressure, maybe a wee bit, like they were inviting trouble on themselves. You're absolutely right, Kev. The actual chances, clear-cut chances, shots on goal we were conceding weren't all that frequent. So that tells me there's an improvement there, even when we are maybe a wee bit. You're going to have phases in every game, Kev, where the other team has a bit of momentum behind them. It happens in every sport.
Definitely, aye.
The opposition get momentum at some point. It's how you then deal with that. And I thought it was refreshing when Giakoumakis came on. I thought particularly the first 10 minutes he came on, he took the stuffing at Hibs a wee bit, just not necessarily by his contribution, but just Celtic's willingness to bypass their press by just getting it more direct up the park. So these options are going to come in very, very good for us.
Russell, football fans deal with A to Z, but they never consider the B to Y. And interesting stuff happens in the B to Y. And as you say, we've now got that option that if our team's pressing us up the park and we're not quite on it as we were in that second half, you bring on Giakoumakis and you give Hibs or whoever you're playing something else to think about. They can just knock it long now and play the football further up the pitch. Lawrence, if we go back to that first half as well, it was scintillating stuff. And we really should have been out of sight by half time. After 30 minutes, we should have been singing and dancing all the way to that final whistle. And for me, I think the second half is a bit of a leveller because it's kind of dragged us down a bit to realise we've still got a long way to go to be a perfect side. But when Tom Rogic does stuff like he done in that first 40 minutes, sometimes you've just got to tip your hat and go, I'm glad I'm seeing Tom Rogic doing stuff like that in a Celtic jersey.
I think with Rogic, kicked off the park, if they said, or else I think he'd have been doing it for 90 minutes and the second half might have been different. But the guy's just been a revelation. So whether it's, BTY or is it beta to epsilon or something now because of the Ange, I don't know. But it's definitely good to see it happening, isn't it? You're right, Russell, Hart played it, long the first couple of times. It makes it stink. Can we afford to press now because this is just going to go over the top, and that Giakoumakis, it looks a dangerous player, doesn't he? It looks as if he can cause bother to him. He was unlucky, I think he slipped when he was hitting one.
Aye.
Aye. But he had the right idea, he's got, he's confident enough to hit it first time, but after the first quarter of fixtures, to be 2 points off the lead, new team, injury crisis, hard away rounds, it's happy days, isn't it? We should be coming into supposedly easier fixtures for us now between now and Christmas.
You come up to a glut of fixtures, especially in December when they try to fit them all in before you have the 3-week break. Mm-hmm. But Russell, there's been a lot of the time that, who's just gave us a thumbs down? Give us a thumbs up, boys, please. That's no fair. We've got 1,800, over 1,800 on the broadcast, and somebody just gave us a thumbs down. So everybody hit that thumbs up button. Hits that thumbs up button. I've got a funny feeling I know who it was, and he's kind of polluting the comments. So I've got a kind of funny feeling who it is. Russell, start of the season, we spoke about mentality. And one of the good things about that second half, while still showing how far that we've actually got to go, we showed a decent mentality in that second half. I was thinking to myself, get through the first 20 minutes. Get through the first 20 minutes and do not lose a goal. Then eventually you'll start creeping back into it. It took us to the 80th minute to creep back into it right enough. But we've got that mentality, as you say. We need to grind things out. And when we go to places like Easter Road, we're not going to get it all our own way. And we are going to need to dig in. And we are going to need to have big Hart performances from Joe Hart, Tony Ralston, Cameron Vickers, Callum McGregor. I mean, there's a whole load of them there that actually just done a shift when we actually needed it, when we actually deserved it.
When you said Big Hart there, then you went Joe Hart, and then Tony. I thought you were going to say Tony Hart. There's two sides to it as well, because what I'm seeing is the defence, I think, definitely seems to be getting tighter, as we've just spoke about, not giving as many chances away when we're in a a winning position, grinding out if you like, or taking the more difficult patches in the game slightly more in their stride. Just to flip it slightly, Jota gets a chance in the second half that is a million miles off target, and is one of a few examples again tonight where Hibs can have their moment in the second half if we're more clinical in the first. And I also think that's the final aspect of the mentality shift that's still not quite got there. I think Joe Hart's definitely, that second half save for me has convinced me now he is getting back up to not quite peak levels. I don't, who's to say he'll ever get back to that, but certainly the best form we'll see him in a Celtic jersey. I think the defence have grown together, as a unit, particularly obviously with Juranovic coming back. He's looked, he takes it quicker maybe than what the other ones have. Cameron Carter-Vickers needed match fitness. He's got that now, and he's now strolling it. Starfelt is getting to grips with life in Scotland, and I've always said, Sweden to Russia to Scotland is an unusual career trajectory. Be a bit patient here. Not all these scouts internationally and in Russia, etc., can be wrong, or ours. He'll get there. Ralston, I mean, come on, what can we say? I now begin to think, again. I think now, up front, when we get chances, and I don't mean necessarily strikers here, by the way, I mean across the attacking, the final third of our team, we have to be burying more chances. I would be interested to see, I know we're top scorers in the league, right? But see if you actually look at how many chances Celtic have created this season, how many have been converted, a better percentage isn't actually, do you know what I mean? Like what you would expect, because it feels to me like we've created a heck of a lot of great chances. And I think once we start seeing Jota be a bit calmer in that position that he was second half, David Turnbull going across the keeper, not near post in the first half, Mikey Johnson putting it on a plate for Kyogo as opposed to the plate being 4 foot in front of him. I think all these wee things add up, and that's when you'll see the final mentality shift that we're looking for, Kev. And I don't think we're far away from it, by the way, so I'm not saying that over-critically. I think that'll be the final, well, not the final piece of the jigsaw, but you know what I mean? That'll be certainly when we start taking more of the clear-cut chances, because it also means these high-pressure moments from Hibs in the second half are diluted by the fact they're actually 4 or 5 or 6 goals behind as opposed to 3.
We're only talking, Hibs are only back in that game because we miss those chances. And as you say at half time, those missed chances become a talking point as longer the second half goes on without us scoring a fourth goal. Julian Gallagher on YouTube, brilliant result. We had to make our subs, so only natural our foot was off the gas. Excellent first half. Still a good, comfortable win for us. Love Joe Hart and the big unit CCV. Lawrence, it's very unusual for, especially this season, for the Celtic fans to be utterly praising our defensive unit after such a sumptuous first 30 minutes, first 35 minutes. But again, I think that shows how far we've come as a team in a short space of time.
I think so, but I think part of it is our defence, we're the best in Scotland, and we get hammered in the press all the time, or the shaky Celtic defence, the dodgy Celtic defence. That's the best defence in Scotland that constantly in the media refers to as the shaky Celtic defence, the dodgy Celtic defence. So I think sometimes that calls our view as well. That, that the first half was brilliant. Hibs are always going to have something in the game. But
definitely.
The defence are doing what we wanted to do, as you said. And said to Hart, I need you to make saves for me. That's why they're in the team. To me, it was
carry one, couldn't it?
Listen, this Andrew's record for wins in a trot as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Lawrence. See just what you're saying there about the shaky defence, and then I'm saying we're missing chances. I've got the league table in front of me right now. Top of the league, right? They might be by 2 points. Their goal difference 9 in the plus. Ours is 19.
It could actually be double. It could actually double that amount of chances that we have missed if you look
at
the start of the season.
But I think Lawrence is touching on something there. We've conceded the least amount of goals in the league. I think joint with Dundee United after tonight still, and we've clearly scored the most. Plus 19 after 11 games. In the terms of the goal difference. Now, that's not going to win us the league, by the way. You need to have the points on the board, and I get that. But the signs, when you look at that, you're going, if this is going to be a title race, and I think if we're all honest, is likely to go to the wire probably. I think anyway, it's going to be relatively close, I think, either way, you know. A goal difference like that, as we know, can become an extremely important factor. Just when you said that, Lawrence, about the defence, you know, our defence will be pretty chuffed with being the lowest conceded in the league. And then with a plus 19 goal difference, the strikers will be telling me to shut my mouth.
I wonder what the expected goal was. I'll have a look at that afterwards. I was trying to.
I was on the league table, funnily enough.
I was trying to find it before I came on, but I didn't. I've got too many buttons to press here, and I'll probably cut these all off or something like that. Cherry bombs, heavy pitch and driving rain. The wide guys did well, but again, Kalmak's engine was incredible. He's become an inspiration. Lawrence, do you fully agree with that?
Listen, he is the metronome of the team. There's nothing Callum can't do in that team. He just covers every blade of grass. He very rarely puts a foot wrong. Taking a yellow card for the team. It looked as if it might have been a foul to us, you know, but obviously Don Robertson lets it go, and he just has a wee tug and Boyle pulls him back, takes a yellow card for the team. So, yeah, brilliant again to Callum. But, you know, it's just expected of him now. Yeah, we were talking about this on Tuesday. You know, Callum didn't really kick on until he was 22, 23. Look at the number of players now in our team that are around about that age. Tony Ralston, but being one, you know, he could be part of the next wave that's come up through the ranks, and could be, you know, 5 years' time, could be the next kind of Callum, James Forrest. Same way Mike is around about that age as well, isn't he? Nah,
I mean we've still got quite a few players to come back, which is heartening as well. Grayson Helsenden comes in. Russell, our back line is a wonder wall. I just hope we didn't look back in anger at the end of the season. There you go. There's a big... I'm not even going for my head went there. I'm not even going there. Right, we've got Livingston. Chance to get revenge against Livingston. They were 1 each with Dundee United the last I saw. I don't know if it finished up. Finished up that. We know what we're going to get with Livingston at Celtic Park on Saturday, Lawrence. Is there any changes that you would make?
We need to see how Rogic is. I think that's a big worry, isn't it? You know, he was hoping he comes off.
There's probably an argument whether beat on work tonight or not, but we'll let the bulletins decide with that if he worked tonight or not.
Defence picks itself. If Rogic is fit, you know, it's Livingston will probably go with Kalmak, David Turnbull, Rogic, and it's up front. You know, we've got you've got Forrest can't be far away. Mikey's looking good. You've got embarrassment of riches. They've done okay when they come on. Didn't get a lot of minutes, but I probably wouldn't make any changes. You know, we're on winning streak. I would just kind of keep it going if we can. If Rogic is out, you know, it's either Beaton or McCarthy you're going to look to bring in, isn't it?
It would be. I mean, McCarthy wasn't even on the bench tonight. Russell, the only change I can maybe see on Saturday, I can maybe see Giakoumakis getting another start and Kyogo getting moved out wide. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can see. I think he might manage Mikey Johnson. If I say you've got 70 minutes tonight, we'll maybe sit you back on the bench for 60 minutes and come back on. Maybe swap him and Abada about. But that's the only two things I can actually see him doing at the weekend.
I think you're spot on. I actually do think Giakoumakis will come back, and I thought it worked at the weekend. I think he's rotating the squad to suit each fixture a wee bit more than what obviously he didn't have many options earlier on. But I think Giakoumakis, the thing I've liked about him for the Ferencváros match, I know there wasn't much time to judge him the game before he appeared in, but the Ferencváros match was the confidence that he played with. He started with confidence. See his finish for his first ever start at Celtic at the weekend, you know, half an hour on the clock, was again a complete confidence. And I think Lawrence is right. He does slightly slip when he goes to take that shot, but he's eager to get the shot away because he's feeling good about himself. And I just think, home game against Livingston, we've got the guy who's the top scorer for Holland in our ranks. When was the last time we had a striker of that sort of calibre? And not like top scorer for, 5 years ago, We're talking about, the current Golden Boot winner from Holland, basically. If they've got a Golden Boot, I don't know. But I think you've got to be taking your chances and playing him at the weekend. Personally, I would like to see him up top, partnered with Kyo, or if Rogic is out, like we don't know yet because we don't know the extent of his injury, I would have Kyo go a wee bit further forward than what Rogic plays and have him sort of just in behind Giakoumakis. I think that could work, and have your natural wide players playing wide, and you might get the best of both worlds there. It doesn't shake up the formation too much, but you might be able to get Giakoumakis and Kyogo playing sort of, in the preferred roles, as opposed to having to always compromise or sacrifice to get one or the other in the starting lineup up front. Does that make sense?
That does. It does make perfect sense, Russell. John Boyce 67. John Boyce 67. Graham comes in. Trust the process group troops. And Kookaburra, another professional performance. Take it one game at a time. Hail, hail. And I think we need to leave it on that. Take it one game at a time. Enjoy tonight. Subscribe to the channel. Have a great day at work tomorrow. Go to the Bulletin at 12:30. Have a look what JP and PJ are actually saying. Have a watch of the state of Scottish football at 6 o'clock on the channel at night. Subscribe. Press that wee button. And do everything. Support the channel. Support Celtic. We'll see you all later. Thanks very much for listening.